intently. I was. At 3 p.m., the pet parade. You could get your cat. I could bring my dog. That'd be fun.
That's today,
That's
Saturday.
today at 3 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, and folks, if you see a guy shivering down there around 11 o'clock, that'll be me. Our Rotary Club is doing the parking, and we'll be over across from the quick fill. But a lot of the organizations are helping out.
Is your band going to play?
My band is not playing. Bill is down in Atlanta at the moment, but maybe next time. But anyways, it's $5 for parking. It all goes to your community service organizations, and that money, 99% of it comes right back into the community. Today, I just want to talk briefly, read about the situation that we've been tracking. We've been tracking the county home. We've been tracking the county landfill situation. But I just want to give kudos to the town of Ellery. They made a mark in the sand. They passed a moratorium law. They basically said, after 30 years, enough's enough. We need to sit down and talk. And kudos to George Spanos and his crew, because they have formed a committee along with Vince Horgan, one of the county legislators, the county planning board, which, as you know, I'm a member of. We became the referees in the whole matter. And I got good news to report that there's going to be meetings that will be taking place. They're going to do what I had talked about last week, was civil, decorum, gentle people, rational minds, sitting down and talking this through. Evidently, this is like one of those deals where the boil has to come to a head. Well, it's come to a head, and finally everybody is going to sit down and try to get this thing squared away. And it's too bad it had to come to this point, but nonetheless, cool heads are prevailing at this point, and I'm happy to report. And hopefully they'll be able to help out some of the folks that have some concerns. And if it's not the landfills issue, they're going to try to figure out what those issues are.
There you go.
There you go.
John Hamill's doing the job.
Doing the job for you.
Okay. I want to say this. The landfill situation is very important. One of our legislators who just retired, Bill Parment, was on the planning board when that came up, and he bought it and set it up, and it is now the largest open area for landfill, unfilled landfill cells in the eastern United States. And they almost sold it, but fortunately we managed to head them off at the pass, and the legislature finally voted not to sell it. And boy, is that an asset, guys. Well, you know, you have a problem. There are certain things in life that don't smell good, that are necessary, and one is garbage. We got to do something with it. You can't just pile it out back. Farts, that's another one. You know, these are necessities. You gotta put up with them. And unfortunately, the people living around the landfill are catching it because there's an awful lot of odor there, of course. And we are mining methane gas, which is probably all over the place too, and it's a very, very valuable asset. So let's hope we can work these things out. Maybe offer them a bonus to sell their house or whatever. Last time they did that somewhere, they had two people who said, "I'll sell my house," because I guess they're basically satisfied. You just spray deodorant inside and keep the windows closed. Have those little things you plug in. They smell nice, you know. All right, we have with us a couple of folks here who are looking kind of wondering if they're ever going to get on the air. And let's see, we've had our 20 minutes now. Yeah, let's all get together here so we can get us in. You see, he doesn't have to go so far back. I won't touch you, don't worry. I'll keep my hands to myself, Patty. Even though you're a very, very attractive young lady. We have some people here who are very, very nice to come in, give their time up for the public and talk about things of interest to us, especially the one industry we still have left that seems to be going well, and that is tourism. And they are the heart and center of tourism up here in the county, in this area anyway. They are quite familiar with the Chautauqua Suites. Patty is the general manager, and Tom is a consultant on the restaurant business. And restaurants up here in Chautauqua County, we have a lot of good restaurants. They have about an 8-week season, because once the tourists go home, that's the end of that. The game's over. But they do function, apparently, at that rate. So with no further ado, I just want to ask you a couple of questions, Patty. First of all, where did you come from?
Originally, I came from Saratoga Springs, another resort area, and I have been in this town for 30 years.
So you're a newcomer.
Yep.
I saw an obituary in the paper. I got to comb that. That's craziness out back there. You know, look at the way that gets all messed up when you're in the wind. And I even comb my hair very carefully. But whatever. She, I don't know. You're doing the job here is all I can say, and even though you've only, I started to say I saw a funeral announcement and said, although living in Chautauqua County for 50 years, John actually comes from Shakespeare, Pennsylvania. Whatever. All right, Patty, you have a dog?
I do.
Yeah, what kind of dog? Yeah. Everybody.
I have a couple golden retrievers.
Oh, they're beautiful. Yeah,
Very
a
much
friend,
so.
friend of mine always says, you got to talk about the dog. How about you, Tom? You got a dog?
2 pugs.
2 pugs. There you go.
2 baby pugs.
Yeah, I had a friend who had a couple of dogs, and there were 2 pugs also. And one day, one of them bit his nose off.
Not a pug.
Bit his nose off. Yeah. There was enough left. He ran to the hospital. He stitched it up. He still has his little round stitch marks right at the tip of his nose.
Well, we're hoping people will bring out their dogs to the pet parade.
Okay,
this
yeah, you
weekend.
mentioned that. And what do they do? Do they have somebody down there who judges them or what?
Well,
It's
we're
like the
actually
American
hoping
Kennel
that they
Club?
dress them up nice and warm, and we're
Uh-huh.
going to collect donations for the Pennies for Paws, the new program that just ran out for the Humane Society.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
every dog that participates is going to get a dog biscuit, and just kind of, make it a nice family event.
How
for
about
everybody.
cats? You can bring cats?
Well, you can bring cats, but we're going to let the dogs parade for the first half an hour, and then you can bring the cats
Yeah,
out.
well,
We don't want a little war going on.
It's a little hard to get those cats to behave, though. I suspect they'd be running all over the county. It's like the old saying, herding cats ain't easy, you know?
Well, we had to get a little creative this
Uh-huh.
year with the ice not existing and, and again, no snow. So we're doing the best that we can and kind of getting creative events this year for
Sure.
the Winter Festival.
Well, it looks like fun. Tell me, the conference center over there, the suites, Chicago Suites, you're having a bus come over?
Well, we're doing a shuttle between Chautauqua Institution and,
Oh, the Institute,
and the
okay.
actual festival itself, so that, people can come and go and enjoy the institution also. We're going to pick up at the main gate on the hour and drive over to the event.
Yeah, well, you have to take Doug Spalding over, let him see what it's
Yeah,
like, you know.
well, we're hoping he's well enough to come over.
Yeah, he had a problem, but I think he's okay. He's a very old man, though, so
We wouldn't say it.
he can almost get in free, Chautauqua lets you in free if you're 90 years old,
If you've been there long enough, yeah.
90 years.
90 years, that's
the limit.
right.
And I have 14 ways to get in free, which are all legit. Such as the post office. You can ask to go into the post office. They got to let you in, and the library. They have to let you in. Those are publicly funded. And there are several other interesting ways to get in. You wear a straw hat. You go in through the market gate. If you know anybody in there, you could say, "I want to go in and visit
Yes,
John,"
that's
or whatever.
true. That's
I
very
do that
true.
when I want to go in. I say, "I want to visit Doug Spalding," and he was the head of the tennis organization over there for a long time. He lives there all year round with his lovely wife, Linda, who's much younger. Okay, so Chautauqua Suites, what is that? Everybody hears about it. A lot of people haven't even seen it, haven't been there. I used to shop there when it was Ames.
Right, it was an old Ames Plaza. It was converted into a 91-room all-suite hotel, and it has a large conference center. We do a lot of local weddings and conferences. It's a beautiful building. It houses a couple of restaurants, Bellini Lounge, and Olives is inside, nestled
Now, Olives
inside.
is an Italian restaurant, isn't it?
Yes, yes. It used to be downtown Mayville, and because of the demand, they moved it down into a much larger facility inside the suites.
What's a Bellini restaurant?
Bellini's is the lounge that's inside,
Uh-huh.
and has a number of Bellinis. That's the name.
What's a Bellini?
It's a drink made with fruit puree and champagne.
I'll be darned. I thought it was some sort of a little pastry of some kind.
No,
It could be a blitz.
it's
Yeah.
A blitz.
Like a
Blintz?
blitz, but a
Yeah.
Russian blitz.
Yeah.
Bellini.
Could be.
All right, it's a drink. Where do they put it?
yeah, and we have live music there, and tonight Kevin Rose actually playing. We have live music on Friday nights. Derek Davis, the local Mayville guy, does very well. Does a nice job singing there.
Okay. Have you ever had John Hamels and Bill?
No, but when I just
Dockerville?
heard that he's the Irish singer.
Yeah,
I
they
said,
sing
it was
Irish
St.
songs.
Patrick's Day's coming.
It sure are, and it's the biggest day in our house because Powers is like, as you know, is like Smith in Ireland. We came straight from Ireland and very little interaction with any other ethnic group. Actually, most of us are still pretty much heavy Irish. And Powers Irish Whiskey, of course, is the most popular selling whiskey.
Yeah.
There,
There
it
you
beats
go.
out Bushmills and it beats out Paddy's and everybody else. Although not too long ago, all the Irish whiskey dealers, the big ones, got together and they bought a big center in the middle of Ireland, and they set up a distillery, and they distill everybody's there.
Wow.
And then they take their share of the alcohol off, and they put their own ingredients in and make it special.
Make
you
it
know.
special.
But we tend to favor Powers Irish Whiskey. Look at that silly hair, boy. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to get a haircut. This is getting out of hand. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with paticenti and Tom Ferrari, and Tom hasn't had a word in it. Say something. Say something.
Hello, how are you?
Say hi, Mom. Whatever. You consult in restaurants, right, Tom?
I help restaurant. I work for U.S. Food Service, and if somebody wants to open a restaurant, I usually am first to go in and talk to them about budgets, why they want to do it, what's their dream, what's their vision, and does it make financial sense to go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Well, do they consult with you when they close? A lot of them are closing here in Chautauqua County.
Well, you know, there's a certain amount of attrition that happens in the business, and change.
99%, they tell me.
About 70% in 5 years.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
make it. Unless you have a business plan, unless you sit down and do all the logical things that you have to do to start a business.
Yeah, they tell me you got to have at least 2 years worth of running money before you open. You better have it.
You got to have some significant cash flow behind you.
Yeah.
You know, you have to make sure your costs are in line. You have to make sure it's a good idea, and you know, bounce that off friends and loved ones. And all too many times, if somebody's just a good cook at home, they think they can equate that to feeding 200 people, and that's where they get into trouble, because there are different techniques in the restaurant than there are at home, cooking for 5 or 500 or two totally different animals, and to make them prepared to do that and work with them on their on how to get to that point so they are a success when they get started. Because so many close because people get into it, and it's a bit overwhelming. The dominance of time, 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for forever.
Forever and ever, yeah.
Because if you're a good operator, your customers want to see you there.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to buy the Lakeview in Westfield, or the Harbor House at that
Oh, yeah,
time.
sure.
And it was a good offer. I mean, it was very cheap, but I thought, my wife and I talked over and said, you know, we're going to be working 24/7, almost on this restaurant, and do we want to dedicate our lives to this?
Right.
We have children, 3 of them, and so the children won.
Well, it is a labor of love. I was fortunate when my children were small. I was fortunate enough to run the Athenaeum Hotel. Patty and I were both there in the in the 90s, and my kids actually lived in the hotel. So my kids.
You had a chance to see them
I
occasionally.
had a chance
Right.
to see them summer, so they were actually raised in the business. Neither of which are in the business now, by the way.
Yeah, well, and neither are you, really. You're not a restaurateur anymore.
Well, we have the watermark
Oh,
down
okay.
in Mayville. Patty
Okay.
and I have that in the summertime, so I
Yeah,
can
it's summer
still stay.
operation. A lot of restaurants do close during the winter, I
Right.
noticed up here.
A lot of restaurants do. It's a, you know, it's a very summer-driven business. As you said, it's a 9-week season.
That's it.
And it's really not even from Memorial Day to Labor Day. It's
Yeah.
when, you know, we're so
Yeah.
dependent, and thank God Chautauqua Institution's there.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, we are a resort area.
sure. Well, I had I used to be the greenskeeper at Point Chautauqua Golf Course.
Okay.
And a wise old gentleman there named Harvey Miller brought me into investment and sanity in terms of how to invest. And he said, Reed, I want you to, well, first of all, he said, Reed, I want you to come down, forget the grass for a couple of days. I need you to help me shut down the cottages. He had a whole bunch of cottages. And I said, oh, well, gee whiz, this is only, you know, the middle of August. What are you shutting down for? He said, Reed, if you ever come up here and buy anything, I want you to remember you have an 8-week season. That's it. You're going to be breaking even the 9th week if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
And it's over. And I never forgot that. Never. Well, so anyway, you're running the conference center. You have 2 nice restaurants, or 2 restaurants there. One apparently features a fine cocktail. What is that Bellini cocktail made out of again? What do you make out
A
of?
little bit of champagne and some fruit puree.
What kind of fruit? do you put
Well,
in?
it depends if you want to do raspberry or peach.
Okay, whatever you want. I've never had one. Maybe I'll come over and have one
They're
someday,
delicious.
you know. I don't usually drink. I'm a straight Scotch guy, you know. Irish whiskey, you know, the